The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Everybody, and welcome to this episode of Ask the Expert at MyHeritage. My name is Daniel Horowitz. I'm the expert genealogist of MyHeritage, working for the company for already more than 14 years and having a blast on doing so. I am very happy to be here with you. The idea is to have a little bit more informal session than any regular webinar, and teach you a little bit on how to manage your website settings and your members permission. So this is going to be a little bit different than the rest of the normal webinars or normal sessions that we're doing, because I'm actually going to risk it and use a live website instead of a presentation where I normally show you how to do things. Before we start, I want to make very clear that you can ask questions as you want on the question panel. I will try to answer all of them, to read and answer all of them as we go. And hello, Maria, and hello, Patricia, and hello, everybody over there. Thank you very much for coming today. So to start with already, I'm going to start with the settings of the website, and I'm going to start probably with a page that you are more than familiar with, which is the family tree page. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this upper right corner. Maybe you are familiar now since we have developed and made it available to you the new fan chart, where you can see all your ancestors in colors, and you can just create beautiful charts, share them with everybody else also in colors. And mostly I use this to know which branch of the family I need to research, where I'm missing more information. But let's not deviate from the original purpose of this session. So back to my usual view of the family tree, and I'm going to click on the dented wheel that I have here in the corner. This will open me the options for my website. And I have always a lot of questions whenever I am in conferences, whenever I meet people at the societies that are asking me how I can set up my tree to show exactly as I want. Well, this is exactly how you do it. Here, you can set up your preferred view. You can set up the amount of generations that you want. You can set up how to display the buttons and the icons and the cards on the family tree. Uh, Probably my preferred will be the second option, the name preferences, because here you can decide if you want to see the married name or the maiden name, or in which order you want to see those for all your married women in your tree. If you want to show the husband last name as a default or prefixes, so this is kind of a very popular one. And the third one, the more actions, and here is where we're going to dedicate a little bit more of time, because this is where you can set up the preference of privacy of your tree and your site. The first thing I'm going to show you is the name of the tree. Right from here, in this case, this is the Smith family tree. I can just change that to my family tree. And when I save that, you're going to see right here in the total opposite corner, the upper left corner, that now it says my family tree. If you have multiple family trees, you will see them all there, and you can select the one you want to view at a particular time. I'm going to change this back to the Smith family tree because that is how I need this website to be. This is a website that we're using for demos and presentations. Now, the other option that I'm going to show you, besides backup a tree or print charts, I'm going to go to the tree privacy settings. I'm sorry, no, the tree editing permissions. Yes, we're going to go to the settings in a minute, but we're going to come first to the permission side of the tree. So this will set what people can actually see and do in your tree. Here, as you can see, you can also change the name of the tree. And very important, I hear all the time complaints. You know, my cousin, I gave him access, he downloaded my whole research. Well, here is where you decide if you want site members, people that you invite to the website, if they can download the research, the tree on a JEDCOM format. You can also set the permissions of your members, site members, or I'm sorry, yes, members can invite other people or not. If you want the site managers to invite or nominate people to invite, if you are the only one that wants to invite people here, that will also be set from here. And you can apply all this one by one to all your family trees or individuals, but family trees, or you can actually do this for all your websites. Irene is already asking, what is a site manager? Very good question. I'm going to expand that in just a couple more of moments. But let's say it like this. You are the site creator. You are the person that started this website and this family tree. A site manager is another person in your family or in your website who has almost the same permissions that you have. It can add more people to the tree. It can change information. It can delete people from the tree. It can invite other people into your tree if you have set your tree with more restrict permissions. So in my personal case, and I'm doing research already for more than 35 years, definitely, I don't want anybody changing the information in my tree. I don't want somebody says, well, you know, Anne Mary always said that she was 68, yeah, for 5 years in a row. So, you know, your dates are not correct. Well, I have done the research. I have the records. I know how I want to keep on my information. Now, if you're a newbie, if you're starting with family trees, maybe yes, you want other people to collaborate with you and to put their knowledge in use and allow them to edit or create individuals over there. But I'm going to get into site management a little bit further in the presentation, Irene, but thank you very much for your question. Now, remember I said the privacy settings page? Well, you could go or reach that either from the menu that I show you on the right side, or you can coming from here also see the privacy settings of the page. Now, probably yours is not going to look as populated as this because in this case, I have multiple sites under my account, and each site has multiple family trees. So let's try to go over the privacy one by one. I'm going to start with my members preference. Here again, how I want people to act with my site, how I want to be recognized in my website or on MyHeritage, if I want my real name outside, or if I want to use another display name, if I want to show my age range. So I'm in my 40s. Well, late 40s. Yes, I know, but still not in the 50s, and that's what people will say. I will allow people to make comments on profiles or not notifying me of new members. I'm going to enable Search Connect and Super Search Alerts so I can be found and find more information faster. Now, I also have here my DNA preferences, how and what other people and MyHeritage can do with the DNA, or with my DNA. In this case, this is a DNA that is assigned to Brian Jansen, and who can allow to view the ethnicities or to view the matches or to view the segments, the different settings that you have over there. If you would have a health test or a health report on MyHeritage, you will see also your health preferences right here. The third option will be the cookie preferences, and this is where you can clean up the cookies in your computer from MyHeritage. Now, before you click that button, the cookies are pieces of code that recognize that this is you, this is your computer, and if you delete them, the website, when you go in, is going to ask you for your login credentials, probably is going to ask you for your two-factor authentication. If that cookie is not safe on your computer, then you will need to remember that every time you click and you enter MyHeritage. Now, for one of my websites, or for each of your websites, you're going to have two settings of privacy. First one is the access. Who can see the information, who can access over there, who can send you emails and notifications. If you want guests, and guests are people that found your website through a search or through a link. They are not members. By default, MyHeritage will privatize your website for guests, meaning that living individuals are going to be totally privatized, deaf individuals are going to be public. And you know what? I'm going to show you exactly what I mean with a real example. This is the advantage of doing something live with a website, and I hope that you are all enjoying seeing what's happening here. If you give me 1 second, I'm just going to bring a URL from another website. In this case, this is actually my real personal website, and I am entering as a guest or not a member. You can see how all the deaf individuals are public. The living individuals have been privatized, and you only see their last names, not their first names, not their genders, anything else. And yes, you can guess that this is me, this is my mother and my father, and my grandparents and great-grandparents. So if somebody will come into your website, this is how they are going to see it by default. Here, back to our settings, you can decide to open that to everybody or to close that for everybody. This is the allow guests to view limited information in my site or authenticated app to access my site. Now, also very important here is that for every one of those options, you have an eye icon right next to it, and you can just put your mouse over it without even needing to click, and it will give you an explanation of what this setting does. Then the next one is going to be the content, and here is where you are going to set how people can see and do, and what MyHeritage can do on each one of your trees. A lot of people asking me always, well, you know, my tree is having smart matches and people are copying my information. Well, here is the place where if you don't want this to happen, you can disable the smart matching. Now, here comes the caveat. If you disable smart matches, you are not going to receive matches with other trees as well. So it is a win-win or a lose-lose situation. I definitely going to suggest you, encourage you to leave the smart matches enabled and to be able to exchange information and contact other people that may be researching your same family members. So as always, and as in every page, once you have done the changes, you need to click on the Save button. And very important, you will also have here as well the photo and albums permission. I'm sorry, not guests, but members, even if they are not allowed, they cannot change the information of your tree, they will always be able to upload images into your website because that doesn't bring any harm, and totally on the contrary, you're gaining from those images that are coming into your tree and into your website. And here also you will be able to set albums as private or public, meaning that those images that are in your website and the information coming from those images will be able to be discoverable through the search engine on MyHeritage. So I would love to see your questions in the panel in the meantime. If you have any questions about all these settings, you can keep going and browse to through the different options that you have, the different preferences, the privacies, the generals form every website and every site that you have. Remember that there are different ways to come to this menu. So I'm seeing already some of the questions popping up on the message, but I'm going to go now to the site members tab or page under home. Okay, I'm going to click site members, and this is all the people that are being invited to my website. So Irene is asking about the colorized photos, if those are visible to others. The colorized photos, Irene, depends or are bounded to whatever privacy settings you have. If the original photo is in an album that is private, the colorized picture will be private as well. If it's in a public album, other people may be able to see it and discover it. Christine is asking how many trees can you have? You can have, I'm going to risk to say unlimited amount of trees. I have an account for a particular research with about 50 trees. So I am pretty confident that we can store over there all your trees without any problem. But, and this question is going to bring me to the next part that I'm going to explain, you can invite members of all those trees to your website. Just bear in mind that whoever you invite to your website is going to be able to see all the information that you have over there from all the family trees. Let me make an example, a more clear example here for you. My tree, as you saw before, is actually not only my tree, is my kids' tree. So I have all the family members from my side as well as from my wife's side. And of course, every member of my wife family can see what I have from my family and the other way around. So bearing this in mind, and of course, they all know that I'm the crazy genealogist of the family, they understand that they may see other information about other people, but they are always going to see their family tree with their own position. Meaning if you are inviting a second cousin twice removed, whenever he goes into the website, he is going to see himself as the main person. And he's going to see his parents, grandparents, kids, cousins, everybody over there, and then he will be able to navigate to his tree or to other trees. Is there a default tree? Very good question, Christine. Let me show you that very fast. Under family tree, you have manage trees. Okay, and the tree that has the green sign is the one set up as default. If you have other family trees, you can set up as a default right here. Again, this was family tree, manage trees, and here you can set which one you want to be the default one. My trays didn't have a find person search. Why, Barbara? Okay, I'm gonna try to get back to that in a minute. I can restrict people to see a specific tree. Yes, on the settings, you can set a specific tree not to be viewable, but that is in super search. That is by guest. If you invite anybody into your website, everything in your website is going to be discoverable, is going to be viewable by anyone that you invite. If invited, are they required to subscribe to MyHeritage? Mike, yes. Well, actually, Mike, when you invite family, and you can do that either from this button that I have here in the upper corner, or just by putting their email address on the tree, they're actually we are creating an account for them. The first thing that they will need to do whenever they receive an invitation on your name with the link to the website, they will need to put their email and password or create, I'm sorry, a password for their secure access to MyHeritage, and then they're going to be able to see your family tree. Now, this is a question that I am formulating and answering. Do they need to pay? No, they don't need to pay. If your site is already complete or is it a premium site and your site already have those benefits, they will enjoy those benefits as well. If they want to see records, then they will need to pay to see those records, and that is a data subscription, and that is something different. So to make okay, the name flips out and defaults to my name. Patricia is asking why it isn't that when I try to produce a family book. Okay, that's another thing. My tree doesn't have. Okay, so let me show you just 1 second a little bit of managing your members. As you can see, this is me. Okay, this is you. It says right over here, don't get confused by seeing me 2 times with 2 names. In this case, I am Daniel Smith. You can see it up here in the upper right corner. So Daniel Smith is actually a site manager. He has the crown. He was the creator of this website. I have invited Erica, and I have invited another person named Daniel Horowitz. I have no idea who he is, but I don't trust Daniel. So Daniel is a regular member. In fact, he has not visited the website in almost a year. But Erica I trust, so I make her a site manager. How I can make anybody a site manager? I go right here on the right side of the menu, and it says promote the person to the site manager. The other thing you can do from here is to remove this person from the website. Either he didn't behave, or you just for whatever reason, you want to remove this person from your website, you can do it right here. Now, what if I already promoted Erica to be a site manager, but I don't trust her anymore? I don't want to put her in charge of my tree. Right here, I can very easily demote her to member, and she will lose all the benefits or the privileges of adding information, editing, or changing or inviting other people to the website. Of course, that from this page, I can always contact my members. I can send an email to everybody. I can fix relationships if they are not correct, and I can put all the addresses over there. Okay, let's see one more questions. Irene is keeping up with the colorized photos who aren't connected to a tree. Are they automatically in an album? No, Irene. They are just thrown away in the I'm sorry, in my photos section. Okay, right here. Yes, we know about this, and we also know that you can actually colorize unlimited amount of images during the whole month. This is the great news. But they are right here, and I have other albums created here, but this is all the media files that are right here. So you actually need to select the different pictures. Oops, 1 second. You see, that's what happened when you're live. Every time you go with the mouse over an image, it has a check mark on the top. You need to select these photos. Then you go to the 3 dots on the corner. And who was asking the questions about albums? Christine, you need to pay attention here because this is how you add those images to an album. And if you don't have already an album created, or if you want to create another album, you can do it right here on the same process of putting those images into an album. Okay, so that answers Christine. Okay, pretty much I have shown you all what I wanted to show. I'm gonna just go over a few announcements that I would like to share with you while you type the last questions in the question box. I want to just for you to be aware that we had a 24-hour genealogy marathon a couple of weeks ago, and Jeff from Family Tree Webinars has been gracious enough to put all the recordings available for free for the next 2 weeks. So if you missed any, if you didn't see any and you missed the whole marathon, you can see it at familytreewebinars.com. Now, we have 2 more Ask the Experts scheduled already. One is next week on March 31 at 31st at 3 p.m. and this is, I'm going to say, New York time zone, Eastern time zone. I'm not going to risk to say daylight or standard because I know we're all changing times very soon. So 3 p.m. New York time on March 31st, we're going to be talking about using the calendars of family events. On April 2nd at 1 p.m., yes, make a note, please. March 31 is at 3, April 2nd is at 1 p.m. Again, New York time, how to work with U.S. Census, and all this in honor that by then you, if you live in the United States, probably you will have already to fill the questionnaire of the 2020 census. I already showed you the new feature of the family tree fan view. But I would like to remind you about the US city directories, 1.3 billion records that we released just a couple of weeks ago. So if you haven't had the chance to play with it and find your family there, I will totally suggest you to go to myheritage.com/research and try that. This session is being recorded, same as the session we had a couple of days ago, same as the sessions that we're going to have next week, and eventually all of them, together with webinars, together with articles, with how-to videos, are going to be published at the education knowledge base in MyHeritage. So education, myheritage.com is the place to go to learn about that. And I'm seeing here questions about the Ask the Experts. Yes, I just published right now on the chat the links for the two Ask the Experts and the 24-hour marathon. And yes, Maria, I'm hoping to send an email about all this very soon. In the meantime, let me invite you to follow me on social media. You can just communicate with me as well over there. Irene registered for all of them, and it says 3:30. It says 2 p.m., not 3 p.m. on March 31st. Okay, probably that is because of the change of time. Thank you very much, Irene. I'm going to check those and make sure that whatever you receive is the original and the final time. Okay, let me go very fast through the questions because we're already over the time. I will definitely like to thank you for being here today with me. Follow up to reminders. I see a couple of questions here that are not the subject of today's presentation, so I'm going to take this in account to generate next Ask to Experts, hopefully every Tuesday and every Thursday. The idea would be at 1 p.m. New York time. We may need to change that to 3. I'm going to let everybody know. For the meantime, again, thank you very much for your present, and I hope that you had learned a little bit about how to manage your website settings and your members' permission on MyHeritage. Enjoy the rest of your day and please stay safe.